Hello, we are Non-Toxic San Diego, and in our documentary we will focus on organic waste and algal blooms. First, we have to discuss how the increased algal productivity problem causes economic impact on matters like fishing quality. To set up some background information, how does organic waste end up in our waterways in the first place? In poor waste management conditions, storm drains, canals, rivers, storms, and winds can all cause organic waste to go from urban areas into the water. Algae forms easily when debris or organic material is in the water, acting as essential nutrients which catalyze the production speed and rate at which algae grows. Algae is beneficial for many species of marine life, but because of overproduction due to warm waters or an influx of new nutrients, either from natural or human processes, algae becomes detrimental to the ecosystem. Algal blooms cause thick green, yellow, brown, or even red patches that impact the clearness of water and sometimes create toxins that are harmful to fish or other animals. After the toxins are consumed by the fish, it moves up the food chain and affects other marine animals. Algal bloom also blocks out sunlight and clogs fish gills. Fortunately, we were able to set up an interview with a fisherman, John, who was willing to tell us his experience regarding the impacts to the fishing industry because of the algae bloom problem, which stems from the overarching issue of organic waste.
And then, does it affect fish behavior or like the fishing market?
I'm going to say that it has affected the fish behavior here because what I'm seeing is more of a proliferation of small fish, like bait fish, anchovies, sardines, mackerel, squid, things like that that would actually feed on this plankton layer. And we're seeing less and less of our game fish coming into the area that would normally be predators of these bait fish. In our discussion the other day, speaking with another fisherman, I asked him, I said, what happened to our game fish? Why do they show up in Ensenada and then they'll show up at Catalina Island and they'll show up in the areas offshore, but they don't seem to want to come into the coast anymore? And we kind of, putting two and two together, say that the water's not necessarily bad. It's good for one species, but not for the other. It's out of balance is basically what's going on now.
Out of balance according to the fishermen.
Well, yeah, the plankton blooms are creating an imbalance. We're not, we always had some plankton, that's great. We always had some anchovies, that's great. We always had some game fish, that's great. Well, now it's out of balance. We've got too much plankton, we've got too much bait, and we don't have a game fish.
So it's like really kind of occupy the space of certain species survival over here, that kind of resulting like in less valuable species you guys can catch.
So it depends on how. Like now, the squid fishery has been very, very good the last few years due to a lot of upwelling and stuff like that. So you have harvest of fish. You have monetary gain for the fishing industry and that kind of stuff. You just switched over to another species, whereas the bait harvesting is where it's at. But you could ask our sport fishing fleet in San Diego about their fishery over the last 20 years, and it's been in severe decline.
What we are using is a ocean model called ROMS. It's a regional ocean simulation that allows to simulate the ocean conditions and ocean circulation and connects with the lower trophic ecosystem, which means phytoplankton mainly, to simulate the conditions from climate and from human sources. So it just represents what are the drivers and processes that can results in increase in chlorophyll concentrations in the ocean. That's the first step we are doing, and we also started to work on linking these concentrations of chlorophyll with toxic algae. Very good question. So there are many factors. We don't know what is the one because they vary in time. I can tell you some of the most important ones. Climate change is one of them because it impacts on the stratification of the ocean and delivery of nutrients from the deep ocean to the surface. Upwelling is part of that system. So this is one of the most important drivers is the seasonality of the upwelling combined with different climate phases, climate conditions. So some decades you have high productivity because of the state of the general Pacific Ocean, and sometimes you have low productivity in the ocean. Another driver could be sources of nutrients from land. For example, coming from rivers or coming from wastewater or treated wastewater outfalls. They can contribute because they can deliver nutrients to the ocean. Thankfully, the waste, organic waste, is treated before it is released. Most of it is treated before it is released, with exceptions in some rivers, in some extreme conditions. So those are lines of study that we are targeting now. We are trying to understand, and they may have an effect on the concentrations because they are transformed in the ocean, and they can have some effect in. They can affect on the concentration of nutrients through the nutrient cycles. First, the city or the managers, how they can help. First of all, the best we can do for now is supporting the science and supporting the teams that are working very hard to understand the process, because there are a lot of unknown that the scientists are trying to understand. So the best they can do for now is supporting the scientists to understand the process more. And as for the citizen, sometimes there are events of HABs, right, happening in the ocean, in the coast. So the best they can do is to report and to avoid those patches or these members that could be affected by those hubs. So the best is to stay informed, communicate, and report any event that may happen in their coast.
Regulation on urban runoff near bodies of water will reduce algal blooms. Most important is to monitor the amount of nitrogen and phosphorus in the runoff, as these are the main causes of algal bloom. Another solution to reducing algal blooms is by reducing organic waste material that is produced, since organic waste is the root of the cause of overproduction of algal blooms. By composting, organic waste can be turned into natural soil and fertilizer for plants. In San Diego, SB 1383 was passed, which promotes composting among residents of San Diego. SB 1383 aims to reduce organic waste disposal by 75% of 2014 levels by 2025, so many residents are receiving green trash bins to promote composting.
Another solution is education. As the younger generation is always told that they're the ones that could change the world, educating the younger generation is key for the future. Not only educating the younger generation, but also the people who are alive now. Educating them about organic waste, composting, and about the problem organic waste causing algae blooms. Education is the piece of the pie to solving this problem and raising awareness. So I was wondering next about what could we as the general public do to kind of stop organic waste from ending up in landfills in the first place?
Yeah, great question. The best thing you can do is participate in the program that the City of San Diego and other franchise haulers are currently rolling out, which is our organic waste recycling program. We're almost done deploying our green containers to all the residents in the city. The franchise haulers will be completing their rollouts of organic waste containers to multifamily properties, single-family homes, and businesses. Participate in that organic waste program and divert that material from the landfill at the source.
Yeah, so talking about the San Diego as a whole, I was wondering what has the City of San Diego and the Environmental Sciences Department done to kind of combat this problem and kind of stop organic waste from ending up in landfills.
Yeah, so the first program that we're almost done implementing is our organic waste recycling program. We've rolled out over 180,000 green containers to residents serviced by the City of San Diego. The franchise haulers are rolling out containers that are to service their customers, their business customers, their multifamily customers. That is the number one program the City of San Diego has implemented. The second thing we've done is we have engaged with a contractor to build a facility to process that increased amount of organic waste that we anticipate collecting from the residences throughout the city. So two things, two rather large projects: the organic processing facility and rolling out the City of San Diego's organic waste recycling program.
The intricate relationship between organic waste and harmful algae blooms underscore a challenge we can no longer ignore. We hope this documentary sparks awareness and urgency around the issue. While change may not come immediately, every effort counts. It's not just about preserving the earth, it's about honoring our past and safeguarding the future for our children.